We are going to now identify our triggers. That's the first step in healing them. And I'm going to tell you a bunch of situations that could trigger, and I want you to let me know if any of these trigger you. Somebody rejecting you, somebody leaving you, or the threat that they will. This is a very common one, this fear of abandonment, especially if you had a parent who left or passed away early on and nobody helped you to process that. Feeling helpless over painful situations. Somebody devaluing you or ignoring you. That was a big one for me, and that's why I do the Woman of Value, and I'm such a big proponent of that. Somebody who's unavailable to you. Somebody who gives you a disapproving look. Somebody blamed or shamed you. Somebody being judgmental or critical of you. Somebody being too busy to make time for you. Someone not appearing to be happy to see you. Someone coming onto you sexually in a needy or forceful way. Someone trying to control you. And someone being needy or trying to smother you. Which of these feels true for you? You might identify with one or more of these triggers. Once you identify your triggers, I want you to think back to your childhood. Think about where they might have begun. I want you to take some time, if you haven't done this work before, but take some time to journal about your triggers and reflect on where they began. And remember to be kind to yourself, to be compassionate with yourself as you're doing this exercise, because it can bring up some difficult feelings. What we do is we try to avoid the trigger. We try to avoid the things that trigger us in order to avoid the pain. These are some ways that we avoid our pain and avoid our triggers. We get angry, we get needy, we become people pleasers. Raise your hand if that's true for you. We shut down and withdraw from somebody that we're in contact with. Could be a date or someone we're in a relationship with. We blame somebody else for what our pain is. Or we turn to addiction, food, drugs, alcohol, sex, porn, shopping, work, gambling, so on. If you can relate to any of these avoidance techniques, how do you feel when you're participating in them? You probably realize that the pain doesn't go away because you try to avoid it, and you might even end up with more pain. And that's why I really encourage you to be honest with yourself about where your triggers started and what your response to those triggers are. This inner work is so important. And we're going to go deeper on this topic in the Woman of Value Club. So if you're a member, you're going to have a deep dive with exercises, and it's going to really be helpful. If you're not yet a member, I will post the link and you can join us. We're going to have so many great topics this year. If you get triggered, it's about us. We have to take responsibility for our triggers and not take it out on somebody else. So notice the trigger coming on. And that's the first step, to notice. And it's almost like we are a journalist, just observing, oh, our trigger just showed up. Just kind of like with the inner critic. Hey, it's a trigger. It's from my past. There goes my trigger again. And that way it's not inside you. You're able to have some distance from it. And you can take some breaths and watch it float away. And this is the first step in healing your triggers so that you can attract and sustain a fabulous relationship with the man of your dreams.